everyone, welcome to my channel Electrical and Computer Engineering Project. In this channel I will make video tutorial on electrical and computer related projects, and if you have not subscribed to my channel you can click on this subscribe button and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon so you get notification every time I upload a new video. And you can also visit my blog from the link above, and you can follow me on Twitter, and you can send me message if you need anything. Hello everyone, today we will work on our admin side fine calculation, and for that let's go to our admin side expire.php, and here you can see that all the information of the student who has taken the book and the expired date and who has returned the book. So if someone returned the book after being expired for some day, that will turn to green and the writing will change to returned in place of expired. So if we run the same query we have written in our student side, we cannot get the data because that will already change to return. So we cannot find how much money they had to pay before they returned the book. So for that we need to write something else. So inside this admin side navigation page we are adding a different navigation here for our fine calculation. We will show that the fine for every student, the total fine will be here. Even if the student returned the book, they will have to pay that money they had before returning. So we will show them here inside this fine calculation page. Now we will work on this. Here it will change, so whenever the person is trying to return the book, we need to work on that condition. We had already done that before. In our expired page you can see here, if the submit button is pressed, then that will change from expired to return the status. That will have 4 columns, and here the column name will be username, character type and length 100, and then there will be the return date, the date they are returning. As we have already used one return as our column inside our issue book table, so we will use returned as the column name here. We cannot have the same column name because that will create confusion between them when we are writing the query and using both the table. So we will use different name, and fine will be floating type and day will be in integer type. And inside this condition, if the submit button is pressed, we need to open a new column that will be after username, that is our book ID, because one student can have more than one book, so which book they are returning, and for that book how much money they had to pay. We just need to do it. And here we are getting the today's date using date function. Then we will write a query that will be insert query. We will insert the value in our new created table fine. Insert into fine, then values. There will be 5 different values as we had just created a new column there. There is 5 column now, so there will be 5 different values to be inserted. The first one is our username, and the username we are taking from this table, which student is returning the book. So we will use $_post in that place. So we can just copy this and paste it here. There is our BID. This will also be $_post because we are writing them inside that form. Then will be return date, and this will be the current date. So we can use $D variable here. Then how many day has it been since their date has expired. So we need to calculate this like we had calculated before in the student side. Let's just make it a comment and let's calculate this properly. Let's make this current date C and another date will be D. And $D variable will be that date they had to returned that book in the library. So we need to collect that from our issue book table. So we are selecting every data from issue book table, where the username will be this and the book ID will be, or you can just use it here. Book ID and the username, when they match, they will take all the information from that row. We are using a result variable here. So we need to fetch the return date from. We can get this from the student side navbar page. We can copy this part too, because we need to do the calculation here again, the same calculation for admin side too, so we can just make it like this. And this variable, let's name it $x for the insert. Here everything is okay. We can use it like this. Now we can remove the comment and insert query. We need to add $x in place of $c, as we are using the date as $x. And after the return date, there is our day. So how many day has been expired? So we need to add $day and then the fine. How much fine they had before they returned the book. So we need to delete this part, because we are not adding all the book value. We will just use only one book value, because the person is returning only one book, or if they return two books, they have to do the same process twice. So we don't need to add them. We will just work with only one book. Okay, we will add another column here in our fine table, that is the status, if the person has returned the money or paid the fine or not. So character type, it will be the status, and we need to insert another value here for this. At the end, we just created the column after everything. So here, not paid, it will be automatically added, and if they pay that, the admin need to manually change this after a certain time, or after the person has returned, the bank will give a feedback so that admin can change it. So here the $fine will be equal to $day into a different rate that is already defined. You can use any rate here. I'm using $0.10. So here we are inserting that fine value here. Okay, so it is working properly, everything is fine. Now let's just see if it work or not. Let's say Promi is returning the book 1. So we need to give the ID 1 and let's submit, and you can see the color is changed here. And if we go back to our database, you can see that inside the fine you can see the return date and how many days has it been and the fine they had to pay, and it is not paid still. But if you go to the student side calculation and if you go to the student side expired page, you will see that only the remaining amount will be shown inside that page, because we are using the same query for searching the expired inside the expired.php page. But now book ID 1 is, and the status changed to return instead of expired. Okay, we will just create a new page, find.php, and we need to have the same styling as our student side page. So I am just copying that, and let's make a new page like this. Now we will change the part that we need to change. The title have to change. we'll use find calculation. Here the search, we can keep it actually, or if you don't want to, you can just delete it. We will use it for our admin side, because in the admin side there will be many students. If admin want to change one's status from not paid to paid, they have to search for that particular student. So we will just write it like this. If we search for a student, we will see their information. It is alright, we don't need to do anything here. We just need to change the table. So if the button is pressed, here is the query, we need to change it, and the table too. First let's just modify the table. Here if the button is not pressed, we can see the normal values here from the find table. So we need to have this column name in place of the student table name. So let's just modify it again. We'll use every column here, and the column and table name will be fine. Now we need to change the table header. That will be username, then book ID, then the return date, then after this it will be day and the fine, then status. Now we need to write it inside the while condition or while loop. Okay, you can see the header is already set here. We just need to modify the values now. So we need to give this column name exactly like we had inside our find table. Now we need to just copy it and paste it inside our if condition. Okay, in this part we need to paste it till the table. Okay, now we need to change this query again. So we need to have asterisk sign here. Okay, we are getting undefined variable result. Okay, we don't have result variable. We need to use $Q. In line 165. Okay, I didn't change the table name here. Now if we search for Promi, we will get the Promi's value, and if we search for another student that is not there inside that find table, we will get error. No student value will be found. So now inside our student side, let's go to student side and let's log in from Promise ID, and you will see that only the book they had not returned, we will see that fine only $0.5, but they had returned the book ID 1, but they had not paid that money, so we had to show the full amount here. For that we need to change the student side a bit. Here is our admin side expired page. We don't need to modify that. We need to modify our student side page. The student side navigation page. Inside this, here you can see that we just searched for the expired query and expired statement, and after matching that we just adding them here. First let's just modify it a bit. Our session variable will be fine. Now let's open the student side expired page, and here in place of session variable that we are showing here, here we will just save all the value. Here we just need to write a query and select the value from the find table, the amount they had to pay before returning another book. So we will select everything from find table, where the username and book ID will match, or we can just write the username. We don't need book ID, because if the person has more than one book they had to return, we have to calculate all their fine, and we need to add a variable name here so that we can use it in our fetching condition. So inside while we will write it here. Let's just copy this, and here the $ result, and here we will use R. Here, and let's say variable that is 0, and inside this we will write variable again. We will add the variable current value and the value that is inside the table. So we will use this variable to fetch that value. So inside our student side expired page again, let's open another page, that is our student side number page, and here we will use the session variable $session fine in place of day, and we need to add it again before adding them inside this. So here we are creating another variable 2. That variable 2 will be variable plus session variable $session fine. So we need to show the variable 2 inside this echo. That means the total value will be added to your saved value inside the fine calculation page. Okay, there is a small error here. That can happen if there is a error inside that query. Okay, let's add another condition here. That will be status. The status had to be not paid. Okay, I forgot a single quotation here. And after this, let's add another condition here. The status will be not paid. because if the person had paid some amount, we don't need to add their fine here. Okay, now you can see that $3.6 is their total amount they had to pay. Now we can just copy this and add this inside our student side too, and we will copy the code from our admin side and use it after a modification. Now we just need to create this page. We'll just copy the fine code and add it here. Now let's log in from another student's side, or from admin side. We will try for another student. Let's go to expired page. Here we will, let's say, Afifa's value, we will return that book from here, Afifa, and book ID will be 1. The value is added here. So now if we go to student side, you can see that Romy cannot see Afifa's value.